Hey kids, welcome to Unit 1, Lesson 6, Methods with Parameters, exercise number 6. We have a choose your own adventure. I'm going to do C. It's got a couple more steps, but all of these have almost the same exact answer. Let's go ahead and take a look at the code. Over here, we have to help the painter paint the path to the traffic cone. So we have to go all the way down here. We also have some methods we have to use. We have to use move, turn left, take paint, and the paint method. The paint method is also going to take a parameter. And let's take a minute and talk about that for a second. A parameter is just a way we make our method more flexible. For this, we can change the color of the paint. The paint method works the same. The only thing we're going to change is the color that we can use. How do we know that it can take a parameter? If we go over to our documentation, head over to our class, Neighborhood Painter, and if we go down to the paint method, you can see in the method signature here, it'll take a string that is a color. What is a string? It's one of the 4 data types that we have in Java. There are primitive types, which are int, which is an integer, a double, which is just a decimal, and Boolean, which is true and false. We also have reference data types. Those are strings. And strings are literal. These are in quotes, and these have to be called exactly like they are in the method. If it says south with a capital S, we have to use south with a capital S. Now, for this lesson, the colors can be uppercase or lowercase. For the colors only, it's not going to matter. But for everything else, whatever's in that quote has to be literal, string literal, of what we want. One last thing to define here. This is the parameters we said. What we're actually passing along is the argument. Remember those 2 key definitions? They're going to come back quite a bit. Before we go back, let's just look at the colors here. You can see we have a whole bunch. Colors can be given in one of 2 formats. The first is just by the name. And again, as I said before, just with colors, only colors, you can use upper or lowercase. They're written as both. The other way you can write it is in hexadecimal. And hexadecimal is just our base 16 system. Remember, the number 10 is invented. In order to count higher, we have to add some other symbol. In hexadecimal, they add the letters A, B, C, D, E, and F. With that little knowledge, let's go back and see if we can't finish this lesson. Back here, we have our import statement to get our painter class. We have our class header. We have our line stating this is our main class. And we have our to-do. We're going to instantiate a painter object. I'll then use the methods in a painter class to navigate our painter around to the traffic cone. Instantiating is easy. We've done that a lot. Well, let's comment this out. We're going to instantiate a painter. It needs to be from the painter class. We're going to call it roads because I know how to spell that fairly well sometimes. Got to use the equal. Well, the new keyword, the constructor we're going to call, there's no arguments or parameters right now, and the semicolon. When I hit run, I should get my painter to pop up facing east. It's a 0, 0. And I do. Let's start moving our painter. These are going to be my methods. Give myself a little room here. And the first thing I need to do is a roads and a turn left. We need to get in the right direction. That should point me up to another roads, turn. So make sure we spell it right though. Turn left. That should get us the other way. And another roads, turn left. And that should get us facing down. Speed it up a little and see if we're right. We are good. We have to move on to the paint now. So roads dot move. That'll put us on the paint. We have to take the paint. So roads should take paint. And there's 3 paints, so we need to do this all 3 times. So roads take paint, and roads take paint. That should pick up our paint. Let's hit run and see if that works. And that looked like that works. We have to get our painter down to the next bucket. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we want to paint as we go along. Well, that means we're going to go roads.paint. What color do we want to paint? Let's switch it up between purple and yellow. So we'll do roads paint, roads.move, another roads.paint, and this time we're going to do yellow. Let's hit run and see what it looks like before we start copying and pasting. That looks pretty good to me. We need another move like that, and that should put us right there. I'm going to copy and paste this because we got to do it a couple of times, like I said. Get our alignment right. And that is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. We moved too many, so let's delete this one. We need to get some more paint. So we need to do a roads.take paint. We need to do this 3 times. Roads.take paint. And roads.take paint. That looks pretty good. I think we need a move after we paint here. Let's put a move in. Roads.move. If it's wrong, it's going to tell us. Let's test our program before we get too crazy. Let's hit run. Well, looks like I was off a little. I'm glad I tested. So this was my purple, yellow, purple. Looks like I need to do another yellow. Roads.paint. And we're going to do our yellow. And then we need to move again. Roads.move. Like that. Oh, let's see if that fixes this. We ran out of paint, but we got to our next paint bucket, so that's okay. There is a fix to this. I'm going to tell you at the end. Let's go ahead and turn. So we're going to do a roads turn left. Let's give ourselves a little room here. Roads.turn left. And you kids know I'm terrible at my turns, so I always test at the turns. We're good there. We got to take a little more paint though, because we still have one left, it looks like. So let's do another roads take paint. And we'll start moving again. So we're going to do a roads. And let's move forward one. Well, no, we don't have to move forward. We can actually paint on this one. So let's go paint. We'll start with our purple pattern again. So purple. Then we'll do a roads.move. A roads.paint. Well, that's going to be a yellow this time. And let's do one more move and see how we're doing. So roads.move. Well, that should put us right there. Let's see if we're right. And that's right. We're getting this error with the paint bucket here. If we actually comment this line out, I bet you that will fix that problem. And if it doesn't, we can just uncomment it. Let's go back to our code, roads.paint. Well, this is going to be a purple. Then we're going to move again. And then we're going to paint again. That should be a yellow. Well, then we're going to move. And then we should be the spot to take more paint. Let's go ahead and hit run and see. We're on our paint now. That means we're going to do a roads.take paint. We got to do that 3 times because we need 3 buckets. like that. Since we got paint now, we can also paint. So let's do a roads.paint, but we're going to spell it right. Well, let's go ahead and make this one purple. Once we do that, we should have to turn left. So roads turn left like that. And again, you know I'm bad at my turn, so we're going to practice right here. Looks good. We're almost there. Let's give ourselves a little more room. We're going to do roads.move and then a roads.paint. This time we're on yellow. Then we're going to do a roads.move and then a roads.paint. This time it is going to be a purple. That should put us right there. And at that point, we should be able to go roads.turn left to put us at the cone. Let's see if we're there, kids. Now we're facing the wrong direction. We just need another couple turn lefts. So we need a roads.turn left. We're going to do one more roads.turn left. Well, let's see if we're good now. Let's hit run. There we go. If we hit test, it should give us an OK. We're failing because we haven't painted each space. I alluded in the beginning of the video, there's a other way we could do this, but I think our real issue is we painted before we moved, and I think that's a simple fix. Let's go ahead and find where we started, which is right here after we take the paint. This purple, and remember, we're just going to comment it out because if we're wrong, we can quickly go back. So let's comment that line out. Now we're going to move one, paint yellow, move again, paint purple, and then we're going to move again and paint yellow. I think I had to just move first before painting. Let's clear our console, hit run, and see if we're right. Looks good. Let's hit our test. And now we succeeded on everything. What was that other way I was talking about? Let's go ahead and look at our documentation. Let's head over to our class. And looking over here, I just want you to see that we do have a set paint method that we could actually use. And if you look here, it's an int, one of those primitive data types. So that means it takes an integer or a whole number. And when we call it, we can set the amount of paint that we want. So we could call this set paint method and put 20 at the beginning, and that could make sure we never run out of paint as we go. For our lesson, I think ours is pretty good, so we're not going to worry about it. Key takeaway from this lesson is just further reinforcing this idea of how to instantiate an object, and now how to use methods. Last lesson, we learned a method is just a block of code that we can call. The move, the turn left are great examples of methods. In this lesson, we learned about parameters. A parameter is how we can make pieces of code more flexible. In our example, it was paint. We just didn't want to use the same paint color all the time, so we could specify the color we wanted. The parameter tells us what we need to enter. The argument is the value we actually enter. For paint, we needed to enter string literals. Remember, that means it's the exact way, case sensitive, as it's spelled in the classes or methods. Hopefully this video helped you better understand methods with parameters. As always, kids, if you have any questions, come see me. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next lesson. See you later, kids. Bye. Bye. Bye.